Hello, this is a re-recording of the presentation I gave at London Blade in the day 20 because the original recording had some technical issues, not least the quality of the videos which actually form the main part of the presentation. So I'm doing it again, and here we go. So you might ask, well, why isn't Bob Marshall presenting himself? Well, there's a very good reason for this. Bob lives southeast of Edinburgh in a, I'm sure, very beautiful part of the world, but he's in partial lockdown with virtually no broadband, and therefore it would have been impossible. So he's entrusted me to present his work, and I will do the best as I can. But before I start, I should perhaps just put it into context as to why it is I'm involved with Bob anyway. So the story starts about 4.5 years ago when I was retired after careers in non-creative parts of the world, and I had the urge to do a comprehensive website on the Wars of the Roses. And being an ex-management consultant, of course, I had to write myself a paper on how to do it and why to do it and what applications I was going to use. And when it came to the battle scenes, I looked at various ways of doing this. I wanted to avoid the usual rather boring blocks of soldiery on maps, and came up with the idea of using Blender. So the first thing I did after that was to enroll in Rob Teitel's course on learning Blender via 3D environments, and in fact his are historical environments, and this suited my purpose very well, and I actually enjoyed it enormously. And then having done all that and got immersed into Blender in various ways, I recently came back at the beginning of this year to the idea of the website. So moving on to Bob. So basically, who is Bob Marshall? Well, he's a historical reconstruction artist, and a 3D modeler, and an illustrator. And as I said, he lives southeast of Edinburgh in East Lothian. And he does a lot of commission work for some pretty prestigious organizations, such as these shown here. I first came across Bob when I was looking for inspiration, if you like. And in fact, the first battle of the Wars of the Roses took place in St Albans, and I came across this picture that Bob had done, and it melded so well with what I was trying to achieve that I was kind of hooked, and I've been in awe of Bob's and his work ever since then. And more recently, he's agreed to provide a map illustration for my website, which is still in development, but I'm already seeing that I'm going to be using it in various ways within the website. So that's enough about me, but it perhaps explains my enthusiasm for Bob's work. And I'm going to start now by showing a showreel that he let me have, and it's recently been updated. And that's the first clip I'm going to show you now.
I've held an interest in digital imagery since the early 1990s, when I began working as a graphics artist. Following a series of illustrated commissions, I developed an interest for our history and our heritage, and a passion for interpreting it, which I now do on a full-time basis. My illustrated reconstructions can take anything from several weeks to several months to produce, depending on their complexity. Some historic buildings are quite challenging to interpret, and that's usually because a lot of research is needed before I can begin working on a visual reconstruction. I approach each of my projects with a great deal of care. The high level of detail that I put into my work attracts plenty of historical scrutiny. Occasionally it provokes debate among the experts, which is an exciting part of the work that I do, but the downside is that it can extend the time it takes to see a project through to its completion. I'm fascinated by all periods of our history, but it's mostly our domestic and industrial architecture that are the subjects I enjoy illustrating the most. These are often the most challenging and technically demanding projects to work on, where historical accuracy is critical. I come from a media and communications background with interests in art, design and computing. I'm not a historian or an architect or an archaeologist, so I work with external consultants wherever I can. My work is a result of a combination of their academic knowledge and my skills as an illustrator. My work is an entirely digital process. Computer 3D modelling is a very helpful tool that I put to very good use in the production of quite a lot of my work. I use it mostly to speed up the process of planning my illustrations. It's helpful to visualize things more rapidly. The digital process is also very flexible. It allows me to make major modifications to the artwork if new information becomes available at a late stage in the production. Like many professional artists, I am a perfectionist, and I'm always experimenting and improving my work. I'm using digital to help me achieve a lot of this detail and realism, but I'm also doing something more. I spend a lot of my time giving my illustrations the look and finish quality of artwork that's been created using traditional techniques. I'm trying to blend in my own artistic signature so that I'm left with an image that I can say is my own and not something that the computer has produced entirely for me. Illustrations are what keep me busy for most of the time, but a few of my projects have gone a step further. I use these same digital techniques to create animations. They are often complex and take even longer to do, but I have great fun making them.
Now, most of the work you saw in that previous clip was done on commission, but this clip here is a result of some work he's done for his own benefit, not a commission. And I think it kind of epitomizes the quality and the extent of the work he does. So that's it. I hope you were as impressed with Bob's work as I am. If you go to his website, you'll find many more examples of his work. And of course, if you want to contact him, that's the good route to go. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this.